Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of This Week in Metal for the 9th of June 2019. I am Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super my brother Dane.
Obviously, we're off to a bit of a start this week with some great news stories. With straight up Kiss, we're talking Paul Stanley here. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame treated us like crap apparently in 2014. Although, to be honest, with the latest news, and they have Gene Simmons in the band, so they should be getting used to being treated like crap.
Yeah, but they didn't really say why they got treated like crap. It's just that they weren't told like the proper, I guess, step-by-step timetable of what was occurring that night. But has that really been treated like crap? Or maybe you guys just wanted things changed and they weren't really happy to change like running orders and stuff.
They're probably just getting used to being not treated like Kiss and being treated like everyone else. Yeah. And like, no, we get Kiss treatment, you know what I mean? I mean, we're the guys who have like the guitar strings, the invisible guitar strings that we're selling.
Air guitar strings.
You know, everything's merchandise, you know. So I'm surprised they didn't even try to merchandise the Grammy name yet.
They might have been upset as well because the attention wasn't purely on them. Because, you know, not just them would have been like inducted or nominated or talked about that night. They might have felt like, you know, now this would be a big deal with Kiss. When Kiss is here, it's all like Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. Just like remember that guy who interviewed them but wore like a Metallica AC/DC shirt, something.
You got to take his shirt off.
Yeah, you got to take that shirt off. So they're probably like that. Like, no, it should all be Kiss everywhere. They should change the name to Kiss.
That's right.
Gene Simmons should trademark it and make money off it.
I got here the Florida station 95.7 with the Hog. Paul Stanley said it was validation for our fans who it meant the world to. Tom Morello, who inducted Kiss on that night, did a brilliant job. It was vindication in the sense that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame kept us out for 17 years. We really left with no choice but to begrudgingly let us in. They treat us like crap. Even that night, we had trouble. How about this? Getting into the arena, we had no idea about the rundown of the show or when we're getting on stage. How would you feel about bands like Deep Purple, though? I mean, those guys have been in the fame for even longer, haven't they?
Yeah, they were able to be nominated back in 1990. So I think Deep Purple and had to wait until probably around the same time. I think maybe 15. Yeah. And they actually didn't even want the award. They're like, we've been accepted, we won it, but who cares? So
that's right.
A lot of people don't seem to really care about this rock and roll induction. A lot of people get inducted, like they're not even rock and roll.
But the fans want to get them inducted. They want them to be acknowledged. I mean, like when it comes to heavy metal and hard rock and all that, the purest fans want everyone to love their band. But at the same time, begrudgingly, when people start to like them, you know, they kind of lose their identity with it because that's who they do. But nevertheless, that's kind of the way it is in the world.
I liked them before the induction.
That's right. I liked them before they were cool.
Too small, man.
Nevertheless, we have other news stories to talk about. Here we are with Slayer. Guitarist Gary Holt goes off on modern rap, but doesn't hate the Kardashians, even though he wanted them dead previously, in regards to the shirt, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they had one of the Kardashians. I don't know, Plastic One number 2. Wore like a Slayer shirt and he wore like Kill the Kardashians. So I guess he was doing it tongue-in-cheek.
Now, what we're doing, obviously, talking about that news story, a couple of years ago, I think it was, that one of the Kardashians was actually basically stealing heavy metal albums and whatever and putting it as her own work. And she was selling T-shirts. And none of those, obviously, proceeds went to much-needed families of heavy metal communities, you know. And obviously, because they're making so much money in their houses, you know. And these people in their poor Hollywood Hills mansions. I mean, can you get a feel for these people? You know what I mean? They're multi-billion-dollar gendered parents. You know what I mean? It's pretty scary the way it is, but nevertheless, here we are talking about Gary Holt.
Yeah, and he also talks about the rap, how modern rap is crap. It's just a bunch of like guys with Texas Sharpies on their faces. And go on.
Did you see that joke with what's his name, Bill Burr? And he was talking about their dad. Who's now there, Martin Bruce Jenner. And he was saying he was on the Tonight Show or whatever, and he was saying, you know, they didn't get a chance to even say goodbye to him. So like, he was like a dude, then it was a woman, and everyone's like, so anyway, like there.
That never happened.
Bruce or Caitlin, sorry, you know. And he was obviously really pissed off because he's a full sport fan. And he never got to say goodbye to his idol before he became the Caitlin Jenner. But that's a little bit of a tangent. Let's go back to what we're talking about here. He's talking about rap, and he goes, rappers, I'm friends with some of them. I love them a lot, but they're always been about, look what I've got, look at my diamonds and shit. I saw a news article was about some 18-year-old rapper who bought a Rolls Royce so he could smash the windshields out and put it on Instagram. All right, you're an effing arsehole, you're dumb. I hope you run out of money, and you're effing sucking dick behind a dumpster money later, so F you. Obviously, there's a lot of frustration being metalhead because, you know, these same people are stealing your shirt ideas and, you know, they're making that dumpster blowjob money. So
well, there you go.
There you go.
Someone has, that's an occupation. Yeah, but he was saying as well that he was a big fan of gangster rap back in the day because it rhymed and had meaning and heart and soul. Now, it's a bunch of guys get tattooed faces and
that's right,
sing crap and have really poor lines against poor rhymes, but hey, they still make money doing it, don't they?
Pretty much.
And that's probably why he gets really upset. So, man, I'd have really struggled to like learn these songs, play my instrument. These guys aren't even trying to be rappers and they still make money. So
that's right.
That's where we're living.
That's the world we live in indeed. Nevertheless, next news story, Lamb of God frontman. We're talking here about the one and only, not Chris Adler, he's the drummer obviously, but their lead singer, Randy Blythe. He's been talking about maybe or maybe not the possible return of the drummer. Now, obviously, for those who don't know, the drummer had a bit of an accident, and though he's kind of working behind the scenes to help write the album or whatever, he's not actually been able to play, so they've been having a replacement come in. So that's been a bit tricky for the band at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. Apparently, they're doing a follow-up to the latest album, which is 2015, so a couple of years back. So normally it's about 4 or 5 years between cycles of... Actually, some bands, Aborted does it like nearly every year. They get a new album.
Yeah, that's right. So, and new members now apparently as well, with poor Blue Dude leaving for greener pastures. So yeah, never mind.
Yeah, so Lamb of God are currently writing, but touring wise, they have to get a fill-in drummer, which is from Wings of Plague, I believe, and someone else, which I guess he's doing a good job there. So yeah, hopefully he's not serious. I guess it is harder when you get older. Your recovery time kind of exponentially grows. So
yeah,
even like trying to get out to get remote control, you can do a hammy.
That's right.
That hammy takes 20 weeks to heal.
We just had our birthday last week, and I'm starting to notice when I'm sitting down after a big hard day of shredding, you just kind of sit down in the seat and you give that sign. I'm like, damn, that didn't expect to have to happen in my 30s.
Imagine being a drummer like after every like hit, like the joints and a double kick, like
Yeah, well, it's funny because Mark Morton said that they actually are working on new material. He's got some stuff together, but Randy Blythe isn't really wanting to commit to it because they technically haven't got an album or anything out. So as far as he's concerned, the album isn't in existence yet.
Yeah, but it might be a bit of like...
It's a bit political. Yeah, it's a very singer thing to do, you know, kind of undermine the whole integrity.
Until like, I sing on the album, the songs aren't ready.
If I don't think it's done, then it's not done. Hey, and Mark's like, well, I think it's all right. It's like, no, it's not done. I don't know why they sound Italian for. It just sounded like it was necessary.
Yeah. Anyway, so that... We'll review it when it comes out.
Absolutely. We didn't review that Mark Morton album with the Chester Bennington on it as well.
Yeah.
So if you guys want us to check that album out, leave us a comment and we'll check it out for sure. But we do have a cool story here for all you vegans out there or vegetarians or people who just like to shit on them. Or just shit on Arch Enemy lead singers who shit on a lot of photography. And the ex-band members. So there's so much shit here. We could be in a park in the middle of Adelaide. Nevertheless, we have Alicia Gluz, White-Gluz? White-Gluz, is that her name? Gluz? Yeah, so. Glutens. Yeah. Okay, well, she's gluten-free maybe because that's maybe talk about her being vegan is the ultimate form of rebellion. Super clickbaity title. Got us clicking on it, and it was quite a long list of why these 4 people were jerking themselves off to say why not to eat meat or something like that. Yeah,
pretty much. Saying, being vegan is like the most heavy metal thing you do because the most anti-establishment thing you can do. That's not true. The most anti-establishment thing you can do is like not have sex because the whole point of the human race is to have sex and propagate and have more kids and have more people. So that is actually
have more people like infiltrating the highways and byways, making it a longer commute to work and that kind of stuff.
More Bilbo stuff. Yeah. That's true. That's good. But that's the most ultimate like form of rebellion is not to do what we're supposed to do. So being a vegan is not the ultimate rebellion.
The biggest problem I find is that right now, Arch Enemy kind of are the establishment when it comes to metal. So trying to hear from the people at the top telling me what to do. Well, the ultimate form of rebellion is not to listen to Angela White-Gluz.
Yeah,
because they put themselves on this hierarchy. Like we are the top of metal. You know, they're doing quite well for themselves. They're playing in front of massive crowds that even I'm jealous of. Because if anything, she listens to us because we've got all the 10 likes on our Facebook and all that. We got no sway. So yeah.
Yeah, but this whole like attitude that being vegan is anti-establishment because you're supposed to eat meat. Like, yeah, that's why we have canine teeth. Like, I don't want to get too technical here.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to eat meat. That's the whole point of it. Isn't like it's part of like a conspiracy theory or the government's making us eat meat. No, that's what we're supposed to do. If you want to be vegan because of ethical choices, that's great.
How do we get a good cover art for Cannibal Corpse or anything like that? I mean, maybe they can just imply it and not show it. But I've got here some quotes anyway. It takes everything that you're supposed to do and going against it. That's way more effing badass than anything else you could do. What this is the ramblings of a really uncool auntie who's trying to get you, no, you're a Christian auntie who's like, just believe in God and like, you know, and pray and all that, and you're going to go to heaven, and that's the most coolest thing you can do. But no one are buying it, you know, that's lame. And she's probably having a second affair while doing drugs anyway, you know. All that lucky church money that she's got. it's really hard to take on, you know, and I get that they could be like a bit more cool about it and just be like, yeah, we're vegan, you know, it works well for us, you know, X, Y, and Z. Our bowel movements are far more regular, and you know, I've got more pets in my backyard now than I've ever had before.
Don't have to buy mascara.
Don't have to buy mascara,
black.
you know. No, they went with the whole like diatribe, and I just find it hard to read. You know, it's a tough read, and I'm sure you guys probably read it before me, and you know, mention how wrong I am about it, but nevertheless,
look, to be fair, at the end of the article, she does say like it's not for everybody. It doesnent cure all ailments. Like becoming vegan doesn't make you perfectly healthy and a better human being. Well, maybe the second part.
Yeah.
But again, anti-establishment, again, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
If she wants to be anti-establishment, like, she should sing off key and out of time.
Yeah.
Because singing in key and out of time is establishment. Because that's what you're expected to do as a singer. Be opposite.
Musician is just a form of the patriarchy. All those notes and stuff, they're all man-made. Like, you know, defy convention, Elisa. Stop using those typical Western scales and makeup and that. And start defying and being rebellious. Man. I mean, we're doing you a favor. Like, you're welcome.
Come on,
you know?
man.
God, we sound more pretentious by every day. Ronnie James Dio. Oh man, the more I see this 3D thing, the more I start to think that you know, these ghosts could take over. Like, AI is real, and like that thing's gonna come out of the screen and murder about the first 3 rows.
How anti-establishment is that? The guy's not even alive, and he's still like selling tickets. That's like the opposite of what you're supposed to be able to do. So
the problem I find now is that I still think it's not a great thing. Seeing him a digital version of someone who's dead. It's like a ghost on stage, which is kind of eerie when you think about it. Doing a previous concert that's, again, it's like you could probably catch on DVD, but the thing I find the most is how awesome the set list is. And that's the biggest problem I have with it, because now I'm like, well, I might want to go just to hear those songs being played by a band, albeit, you know, Dio in Xbox 360 or not, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like, there's songs like Mob Rules, Stand Up and Shout. They do Holy Diver and Last in Line together. Gates of Babylon, Rainbow Songs, for instance, you know, Stargazer.
Wow.
You know, these are some of the classic hits you're going to get, and it really tears me apart, because I still think it looks really weird, and I can't go out supporting dead people when there's plenty of live people as well.
Yeah. Well, Ripper Owens also sings there, and his band's alive. So majority of the musicians on stage are alive. So that's something. So
to hear that, though, is probably worth it as well. And the kick now, the new and improved version, obviously the first version for Whack
better
had to
eyebrows.
be scrapped. Yeah. Apparently it was like the swollen B effect, you know, a bit like the Caitlyn Bruce Jenner dichotomy, Danny. He had to go through like some sort of gender reassignment, you know, to improve Ronnie James Dio's face.
Yeah.
But good for Dio, you know, good for his skeleton ghost that's come out. The Casper, the friendly ghost, the friendly shredding ghost. But Neon Knights, what a great set list. Like, I really recommend you guys to see the set list. It's amazing.
Yeah. The problem with this, I actually saw the video clip of.
You saw it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it as well. Yeah.
And the problem is, it's true that it's not greatly synced up. So I don't know if it's a delay or whatever it is, but so when you see that, you just know it's off. So when humans pretty good at picking things which are real.
Yeah, and you know what's gonna be worse for immersion is if they do a track where he's like going to the fans, all right guys, let's hear you say hey, and everyone's like the Japanese, but they're super polite and they sit there. He's like, all right guys, you guys are awesome tonight, and then they start marking out. They're like, this isn't real. Like this is bullshit, you know.
Well, I think they know he's dead man, so they already know it's not real.
But like the immersion, man, because you start to forget that there's this pre-screen, you know. It could be some guy in their living room just, you know, wearing a Dio suit, you know. Like the FIFA, when you're doing the video games, they wear those ping pongs on their thing. It could be something that.
That's right. Yeah, the green screen guys.
Yeah, the green screen guys. So maybe Ripper Owens in the back and he's got his sweat on.
Yeah, that might even be a better thing. They like create like a 3D Dio whatever skeleton. So when he does like green screen in the back and sings, it actually goes straight to the hologram thing.
There you go. Solving
that's
more
a better
problems.
idea.
That's rebellion for you, mate.
Trademark.
Get Gluz on the phone. Tell her we got something. And speaking of Ripper Owens, there is a news story about him. He calls the iconic writer Stephen King a loser. Now, I had to dig onto Stephen King's his Twitter page and find out exactly what the hell is going on, what he's talking about. And I got a couple of quotes here for you to check out, Danny. So, why do you think one of the best power metal, maybe just vocalists of all time in metal, has a problem with a horror writer?
I don't know. Maybe he hasn't put him in any of his books, so he didn't like the new version of it. But I like how he just called him a loser. Like, you're insulting like an author. You could think you come up with like a better...
Some sort of like that. He's really showing that. Oh, he's an author himself. He writes lyrics.
I know. You
take something
harder.
out of, Iced Earth or you're in Judas Priest for crying out loud. Just kind of rip on something like that,
Yeah, but maybe that's why, because he's an author, he just called him, you're a loser, mate. It's like calling like a really smart person dumb. It's like, it just plays with him. It's like, no, I'm better than that. No.
Well, I've got some quotes here, and you were wrong. It wasn't about that. It was probably about this. Smashing US presidents. Apparently Stephen King here. This is obviously Tim Ripper Owens tweeting against what he was saying. He says, wow, reading Stephen King tweets. Haha, what a loser. This is the fans he has lost, including me. Haha, at least something he's writing now is scary. Or is writing no is scary. Don't worry about that. We'll forgive you, Tim Ripper Owens. I mean, God damn it. You did the Charballs of the Dam. That was amazing. Congratulations, Britain. Tonight you are hosting a state dinner for American arsehole who can't spell. All right, so that's one of the many Trump bashings that I got to read. There's some more if you want to check them out. Had to laugh when I saw Trump walking with the Queen, his belly curving out of his white waistcoat. He looks well-fed, brainless aristocrat, 19th century, which is about what he is. And one more over here as well. It's impossible to watch HBO's Chernobyl. Have you seen that Chernobyl show yet? I did. It's very good. Without thinking of Donald Trump, like those in charge of the doomed Russian reactor, he's a man of mediocre intelligence in charge of great power, economic label, then he does not understand. So I'm guessing this is kind of the thing. Maybe he's got some deleted tweets about certain Iced Earth members being certainly lacking in hair efficiency. And maybe that's something to get upset about. I mean, we've come to terms with our lack of hair efficiency, but maybe he's a little more sensitive than us about it, Danny.
I really don't know. It's, I don't know, just there was a part like the last couple of years, a lot of like musicians have been either very pro or very anti-Trump. I guess Rip Owens, I don't know if he's anti or pro-Trump, or he just doesn't want people ragging on his president.
Well, that's the thing, yeah, because he's kind of like thinking, you know what, we all voted for him, and like, yeah, I guess you're not supposed to, even if you don't like the other person, whatever. It's like that's the way it is, you know. But nevertheless,
I also think like Stephen King's quality of writing has diminished. I don't think he writes decent books anymore, anyway. So.
Or he can't write decent Twitter posts, maybe, and that's what's getting this iconic.
Have you seen his books? His books are like 2,000 words thick, so he can only do like 140 characters.
Do I look like a guy who reads books?
Yeah. So that's why he's like, I got no story here.
Moving on to something a little bit lighter. Jack White and Jack Black have finally met each other. I'm not too sure what the universe was expecting when they did meet, because I've seen Jack Black talk, and it's not very interesting. But Jack White, on the other hand, is very interesting, and he's very funny, isn't it? Is that what I'm talking about? He's Jack White, and he's Jack Black.
No, he's opposite. Jack Black's the big guy, man.
Jack Black's the big guy. So it's the other way around, so Jack Black's interesting, Jack White not.
Yeah, because he's still up in White Stripes.
Ah, that's right.
That's right, yeah.
So
that band was
existed music, yeah.
10 years ago. And some idiot said, oh, maybe they come together and make Jack Gray. Like, yeah, moron.
Jack Gray. Did you find any other winners with this one? Because
no, that's what they kept saying was Jack Gray. Like, that's the best you can do. I have like, 15 years waiting for them to meet.
The other guy from Tenacious D, that's the other guy, right?
Yeah.
He looks very grey. So maybe that's Jack Black, Jack White, and Jack Gray.
They just changed his name.
That's really bad.
What is his name? Oh, I forgot now. I should know. I've seen that movie like 20 times.
I don't know, but
I know.
Yeah, he plays acoustic guitar. He plays that mean one, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I actually don't know why everybody's so excited about the meeting. Like, maybe they're going to write together, but who cares? Jack White's songs are boring. The White Stripes are boring. It's a two-piece band playing generic rock.
They had that Seven Nation Army, was it?
Yeah.
They had that song. They'll wait for him.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe these guys can do like their own podcast called like Doesn't Matter If You're Black or White, or that's better, I reckon. Yeah,
absolutely.
Anyway, that was boring.
You get hit the same with the piano keys, just like piano keys. Hey, there you go.
Kurt
Hammett wants Metallica to perform that Ronnie James Dio medley live. We did cover this story a few years ago when they actually did this medley, Danny. Do you remember the songs?
Nah, I should have I've read the songs what they have, but I can't remember the song itself. I probably should have researched.
So the medley has A Light in the Black, Tarry Woman, Stargazer, and Kill the King. Obviously, Metallica loved doing this thing with Garage Inc., for instance. They did a lot of those kind of songs where they smash a bunch of covers they love together and reap the rewards of not having to sit that awfully hard thing of coming up with creative material.
Yeah, they're bad at that, especially recently.
Yeah.
But this was off that did like a Dio tribute album, so a lot of people did their own version of songs, and they did that. They put all four together.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of those songs I think come off the Rainbow Rising album, so there might be one of those Dio fans who just got like 2 albums and they just do all those songs.
One thing, this is what our friend Kurt Hammett from Metallica has said. One thing I would like to do live one of these days is do a Dio/Rainbow medley. This is a Rainbow.
That is Well, Kill the King's Rainbow. That's all Rainbow. No, you're right.
It's all Rainbow, yeah. I think that'd be effing incredible to do that live sometime because I'm a big DA fan and a big Rainbow fan. It's always nice to have big Rainbow fans as well. We did go see him live in Birmingham, and that was an expensive ticket, let me tell you.
Yeah, no.
So worth it though.
Yep.
And you saw Graham Bonnet.
Yeah, I saw him on Thursday night here in Adelaide, which is quite sweet. He used to live in Adelaide as well. So Adelaide, even though it's small and secluded, we still get a couple of few rock stars who want to live here. So that was pretty good show. He did great performance. I think 70 plus. He sang a lot and a lot of power, and he did a very good job.
There you go.
Very good job. And he was doing 3 nights in a row. So
Metalhead of this week, Graham Bonnet. Congratulations there, Graham.
Why not? You go him.
Yeah, he's a legend. And with that, we are at the end of this week's show. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to check out more of our stuff or do it, leave us a comment on our YouTube and let us know what you guys want us to check out, do a news story on it, or maybe a review on a certain album. So there we go.
Indeed.
Thanks for joining us this week in Metal. Until next week, I'm Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dan.
We are the Super Metal Brothers. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you all next week.